Good morning and Happy New Year. It's the very first day of 2017, so that would mean it's January the 1st, obviously. Okay, so this is my channel. I'd make videos about the moon, the earth, and the idiots that live on it. And pretty much the whole time I've been on YouTube, I've basically stuck to the subject, you know what I mean? The same subject. It goes into religion and things like that, but I try not to offend anybody when it comes to that, you know. I strictly point out what I see as what's going on in this world. I try not to actually voice my opinion most of the time because nobody wants to hear my opinion, because it's not a very good opinion on most things. I tend to look at the negative a lot, and because I don't see a whole lot of positivity in, you know, there's more negativity than positivity is what I'm seeing. As far as the actual world, the way things are going, you know, in your own personal life, that's different. There's a lot of things in my personal life that are not negative, but when I look at the world as a whole, I do see very negative things happening and about to happen in America, especially about to happen is what I say. And you know what? My channel is not here for popularity. I'm not here for. I don't check my analytics. I don't care about how many views I get on my video. I'm simply here venting my hostility towards the idiots on this planet. You know, I live very simply. I live in a small place. I have one vehicle. You know what I mean? I don't consume a bunch of crap. Most of the stuff I get for free. I rebuild things or I reuse things. I don't mass consume things like most people do. Like, not most people, but a lot of people do. You know what I mean? I don't do that. So anyways, that being said, let's get on to checking out some things I did on the moon yesterday and the earth. If I can get this to get out of my way here. Okay, so my desktop here, in case you're wondering why I have the Death Star over the earth. Because the moon is basically, this Death Star represents the moon, actually, in the Star Wars series or whatever. I haven't seen every one of the Star Wars series, but I was there to see the very first one when it came out in the very beginning. So I've been around. I've seen a few things in the world. I've watched everything that's happened since them times in the 70s. Okay, I've watched that. I've been around to see it. I'm pretty well aware of what's going on every time that things happen that are not for the good of humanity or the earth. Okay, I've watched since the first thing I really remember being wrong in the society and politics and government was Reagan. I remember Jimmy Carter was the president. I remember there was hostages in Iran, and I remember that they got released as soon as Reagan was elected president. Which I was kind of young when that happened, but I was not a stupid kid. You know what I mean? I could see what was going on there. You know, they obviously were involved in holding the hostages there until he was elected president, and then they released them. I mean, if you can't see through that, that's pretty stupid. And I was just a kid. I could see right through that, right from the start. Okay, right from the start, I could see what was going on. I mean, and I'm sure most adults seen the same exact thing, right? I'm sure you did. And it went all the way through to, you know, we got to the Iran-Contra and all that stuff. I didn't really pay attention to that stuff too much. But when we got to the Gulf War, that's when I started paying attention again. I was screaming at the TV every day that the news would come on the TV that they were going to go into Iraq and do this, do that, and I was just furious. I couldn't believe it. And the same thing with 9/11, and the same thing with all of it. You know, I didn't believe 9/11 from the very first start. When I first heard of it, I was at my storage unit. I was homeless at the time. I was at my storage unit, hanging out, because when you're homeless, you don't really have many places you can hang out, and I wasn't even allowed to hang out at my storage unit anyways. But I was there. The manager cruised by, told me that a plane just flew into the trade center. I said, "Oh wow, cool." You know, I didn't say that, but I said, "Oh really?" You know, and I said, and as soon as he drove away, I said, "Fucking Bush." I knew that's exactly what I said. Those were my exact words. Was fucking Bush. I knew right away. I mean, I knew that right away because I pay attention to what's going on. Even though I was homeless, I knew what was going on in the world. Okay? I'm not an idiot. I knew what was up. Because he forced himself into the, he stole the election, first of all. And then he was at a school. George Bush, they hyped the fact that he was going to be visiting a school in Florida, and I knew right then something was going to happen. And when something happened, as soon as something happened, when I knew he was at the school, I knew exactly what was going on. So when he told me that the World Trade Center had a plane fly into it, I knew. Before I even seen it on the news or anything. I hadn't even seen it on the news yet. So I know. I mean, I'm aware of the bullshit. And, this stuff that's going on today is the same bullshit. Same bullshit. I'm just tired of that. So I try to, that's my opinion on that. I basically voice my opinion sometimes on things like that. And I shouldn't even have to do that. I don't have to do that. So let's prove today that the Pluto image that they give us, right? It's right here. This is the image of Pluto they give us, and it's already been flipped over. This is not how they show it, I don't believe. I think it's I flipped it over already. Excuse me, if I start coughing, I got a slight cough last week or so. Okay, so anyway, this has been flipped over. This is supposed to be a picture of Pluto. But you have to think, people, why would you go to Pluto? For what reason would they build a satellite to go to Pluto and take pictures? Of what value does that have for humanity here on Earth? Does it have any value? It does not have any value, because obviously it has much less value than you could ever imagine, because this picture is not Pluto. It's not Pluto. So they spent a bunch of money to make a machine, our money, to go to Pluto to give you images that are not of Pluto. Okay? I mean, that's what's happened here. So, I mean, I'm just trying to point that out to you. I've researched this over and over. This does not let me down yet. This is not Pluto. This is Mare Oriental Basin on the moon. This is what it looks like when they put this. They added this white covering here. If you were to remove this white, you would see this is Mare Oriental Basin on the moon. A big crater on the side of the moon that you can barely see the edge of sometimes when the moon is just right and you got the right conditions, whatever. It's on the side of the moon. You can see like the edge of it. Okay, so it's on this side, I believe, when you're looking at the moon. I don't know, but anyways, it's not Pluto. I've been showing this since it came out. Okay, so here we go. This is actually Pluto overlaid, and I showed this the other day. I aligned it to some weather, and it's not moved. I have not moved this image. It's still in the exact same location. It's in the perfect place. And a couple of days after that, I had downloaded this weather, this weather overlay for Google Earth, and it updates occasionally, a couple times a day or whatever, however often they do it. I haven't really paid attention. I know it does update at least every day. But anyways, when I brought that up over the top, the weather, let's do that over the top. See, I've done this already a long time ago. I already know that this is what's going on with this crater. I have better weather that'll show this even better, that I've saved from the past, but I have to dig that up, and I'm not going to do it right now. Now, this may not be very clear at this moment to you. Look at this right here. Look, see this right here. Watch this. Okay, and just look at the rest. You kind of stand back from your screen and look at this. I mean, look at this right here. Look at this blue out. See how this got this like outlined area? I'll leave this here and show you every day there's something here, that shows real good. But this is definitely what you're seeing here is this same thing. So how does a pattern from Pluto get on the Earth in our weather backwards? How does that happen? I mean, either way you look at it, however it happens, it's not Pluto. I mean, okay, if Pluto really did do this, it would be important to go to Pluto and get pictures. But this is not. They've already had these pictures since the 70s. Okay, I have images from the 1970s of this crater from NASA. from NASA. And if you flip them over and overlay it over this picture of Pluto, it's the same picture. So, they didn't have to go. This is the moon. That is absolutely the moon. Okay, so, I know you can see that one part anyways, this part here. Now, let me just show you another thing that I did. This is a picture of, I call it the mantle layer. And I was just going through my images yesterday, and I ran across the mantle layer. It's normally way up my list up here, way up here. So I saved it over 2 years ago, this image, and I brought it up, and I usually have it overlaid right here because this is where I've originally seen this weather picture I'm getting ready to show you. Now, what they show us in the ocean floor in the Atlantic right here, where this weather pattern I'm going to show you originated from. They show you a ridge, and it looks like this is the Azores right here. These are islands, volcanic islands that were created by the same volcano as this here. This was a volcano. It's like a chain of volcanoes that goes like this, all the way over here to the Azores. But anyways, I've already explained that before. That's another story for another time. But it's a big round pattern right here in this. So they show us a bulge, and what the weather pattern shows us is something entirely different. Okay, let me just show you. It's over here. I got it overlaid already. But I want to just show you what it shows you. When you look at things with a careful eye, you don't just glance at things, people. When it comes to the weather and the earth and things like that, you don't want to just glance at it. Unless you don't care to know the history of the planet. This relates to religion. It relates to your everyday life. When weather conditions affect your life, don't they? Weather conditions definitely affect everybody's life on Earth. Flooding, hurricanes, typhoons, droughts, all of it. Okay? And tsunamis, all of it. It's all related to the weather on the Earth. Even earthquakes are related to the same subject. So it's important. It's not anything to do with Pluto, because Pluto has nothing to do with your everyday life. Nothing to do with it. It's just a pure fantasy, fictional thing that even if it does exist, it doesn't make any difference in your life whatsoever. The only difference it made is that you're being lied to about it, and that they spent a bunch of money, our money, on taking pictures that aren't even really of Pluto. So that's how it affects you negatively. Okay? So here's that picture. I brought it up yesterday, and I looked at it and said, oh yeah, I could just throw that right over that Pluto picture. That'll fit right over it. Because you know how I know that? Is you see that big round pattern, and you see this little extension that comes down the side, like it shoots down the side right here. See this little area? So all I did was I copied this picture from way up my list and brought it down lower, and I aligned this part of this to this part of Pluto. If you look at Pluto, I'm just going to call it Pluto because it's easier, just to keep it separated in your mind that this is what's going on. Okay, so here we go. You see how it comes down right here, and this white is kind of hiding the actual feature that I'm going to show you in the weather here. Really is hiding that the real details of it. But look at the outside. After I line that one area up, look how the rest of it aligned. See how this has got this area right here? See how this goes around like this, and this whole area is right there. You can see it clearly. Look at that. The weather is probably more accurate as to what the moon crater looks like than this picture of Pluto or of the moon, whichever way you want to call it. It's actually showing more detail of the crater that's on the moon, probably, because this is a print left on the Earth by the moon, somehow either hitting one side of the Earth and blowing all. If you look at this picture, it looks like the mantle layer of the Earth. Here is the Sahara, here is Europe, and if you look at it, this looks like the mantle, and this is the crustal layer. That's what the weather shows you, people. The weather shows you the surface of the Earth because the weather is created at the surface of the Earth, around the whole planet. What happens is, like if you've ever been up early in the morning in a cold area, the cold rises from the ground and you can feel it coming from the ground, the bitter cold coming from the ground, right? Well, that temperature change shows in our weather patterns over the Earth. In a big vast area where that's happening, it's going to show you a big vast area where it's happening above you. That's what weather shows. This is a pattern coming from the surface of the Earth. And it's not the first time I've seen it, the only time I've seen it. Not even. This is shown all over the planet. It used to be shown in the weather. They've downgraded the weather. Good luck finding anything like this in our weather today unless you have access to some good images of the weather, which is hard to find nowadays. But this is the same exact thing. Exactly. Look at this. Look at the line. How it's the same thing. I can't stress it enough. I cannot stress that enough. Look how it goes. Look at that up at the top there. How it goes straight down, stops there. Here's check it out. See this part of this is Tanzania, right, or Tasmania or whatever. Look at it. You can see it right there. You can see it right there in the weather. And I know I just told you this weather's from the North Pole, right? The northern hemisphere, up by in the Arctic Circle. Look at that. Isn't that trip? But that is that. It is for sure that. They have a place in Australia actually. They call the North Pole. That's not even near the North Pole, but you can actually take Australia and see its weather patterns up here in the North Pacific. This little piece of land right here. Well, I don't even remember what it's called, but this little piece right here goes right on the. You can see that it used to be with Australia. When you take and fade this out like this, and you take and fade out the other picture, right here, that piece goes right there. This piece right here, see that round curve? That goes right around this little area right here over Australia. And they call this spot the North Pole. I just think that's interesting. And you will see the weather up here that matches Australia at times. And you will also see it right in here. So it's like, and they say, if you check, they say this came from the South Pole. The South Pole. So maybe here you go. Make that the North Pole or something, because they called this the North Pole at one time. But even though it came from here, apparently, everything comes from this spot on the Pacific. You can see where the impacts take place, people. One here, one here, one here, probably one there. Okay, and then probably not. That's probably not all of them, but you can look at the rest of the Earth and see the direction of travel of these other continents. You can see where South America stopped right here, it looks like, or was, it was actually created right here in the subduction area. South America goes right here. There's the curve, and this curve goes right here that they try to hide a little bit, but that's the same curve right there that you see in South America. Right here is right there. And I would imagine that it was created here because of the subduction, and we know how volcanic and this area is and how active it is all the time today, which tells me that it was created probably right here. The Andes, everything, the whole thing was right there when it was created, I think. Now there's there's volcanic activity still in that location, but if you take South America, save this image, and then spin it around, put this part of South America right here and the top part right here, it actually fits very well over this location. Now I'm not saying it was absolutely there, but it does seem to have drifted from this spot across the Pacific and end up where it is today. Same with North America. North America was obviously built over here in this area and has drifted this way or was pushed this way, something like that, or it went all the way around already. Maybe it started off over in this area and went this way, and now it's where it is today. But it looks to me like it all starts here in the Pacific. I've built the supercontinent here. It goes here, pretty sure. But that is not Pluto. Every day, all day. Look, copy this overlay. Copy it. Get yourself a picture of Pluto. Flip it over and overlay it exactly as I have it here. and then get your own Google weather overlay and put it on there every day. Check the weather, and you will be shocked at what you see. I promise you, you will be shocked at what you see. You know, some days will show very little. Some days will show more than enough. More than enough. Look at this right here. Right where I showed that Redeemer statue the other day. Remember that? And then we have all these earthquakes right here. Remember those last couple weeks ago? The big earthquakes right there in the Solomon Islands? Look where they're located at. And those things had nothing to do with me putting this where it is. I mean, it has something to do with it because, of course, that's in my mind at the time. But this was aligned in a different way. I used a different technique to align things. It's basically align it to one thing, remove that one thing, and see how it fits with the other things that I have. You know, and if it does fit with all the other things, then I'm on. This is a perfect overlay in a perfect location. Absolutely is. And I think that weather shows that. When I turn on this weather, I cannot move this weather. This weather is where it is. Sometimes this stuff don't even come up. They cherry pick it. They'll only give me, you know, whatever ones they want. But they never give this location. Never. Which shows you something. I can fade it in and out, but I cannot move the weather or edit the weather whatsoever. They update it. They do. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. There'll be better days. I'll share with you. I promise. I will share. When they are better, I will share it with you. But that's what that shows. Let's bring that mantle layer over this to see what happens too. And you see how when I saved this picture, they had this cut out. This weather was shut off. See the lines right here. They were hiding that part. Look what it would have shown. See that spot right? Look at that weather just fit right. Look at that. Oh, beautiful, just beautiful. I can see this all right here too. Wow. Huh. European weather. Look there's Europe right here. Europe right there, and you can see that weather right there has something to do with that area. You can see that it fits there. I can see it. And even it's not even perfectly aligned, but I can totally see it. That is nice. And then Tasmania right there. It's right there. Believe it or not, just make of it what you will. I'm just trying to share with you, things that go on they may be negative. I may look at a lot of negative things, but I can't help it. I see that. When I watch something happy, I have no reason to make a video about it. You know what I mean? It's like, great, that's a great video. I will share it, and I will like the video, plus give it a hands up, thumbs up, whatever. I'll do all that. But, it's the negative things that piss me off, and I feel like I have to point out. I want other people to see it. Like I said, I don't care about the views, and I don't care about, I do because I want people to see it, but it has nothing to do with me making any kind of money or anything or views on my channel. I could care less about my channel. Really, it's just there to show this stuff. That's all it's there for. That's all it's there for. And I've noticed that since my video yesterday, I've lost a couple subscribers. Ooh, that's too bad. I'm probably not going to sleep very good tonight over that. Oh, so tired too. Can't believe it. Because all these people, hating on me. It's very tiring. So anyways, have a good day. I got to go do some work before it starts raining here in California. Get the gutters cleaned out again and whatnot. Yeah, I've got normal stuff to do too, So everybody have a great day. Thank you for watching.